What's up, everybody? Nate here from Out of the Basement, bringing you a brand new action figure review. Today I am so excited to finally be bringing you my review of the brand new Mandalorian from the Book of Boba Fett. This is labeled Glavis Ringworld. And I am recording this intro audio after I have shot a large portion of the review, because I do want to say there are a few points in the video that I do refer to this Mandalorian figure as being completely brand new. That is not true. It is a retooled version of the Death Watch Mando, and I'll go a little bit more detail into that later in the video, but I just wanted to get out in front of everything and just let you know, yeah, if you hear me call it a new figure, that is because I thought it was, as I feel like Hasbro kind of led us to believe that it was going to be a brand new figure. But once I had taken a closer look at it, I started to realize some of the sculpting looked very familiar, and sure enough, it is partially the Death Watch Mando body. Moving past that, though, let's take a quick look at the package. You can see it is in a window box, and I also got to give a big shout out to Landspeeder Luke for sending this to me for Christmas as a gift. That was really awesome and very kind. We've got the mural art on the side here, which looks amazing. On the back of the package, we do have the bio if you want to pause it and read it now, along with a more zoomed in image of the mural art. This Mando is also the 8th figure in the Book of Boba Fett line. And then here's a quick look at the barcode on the bottom. So let's not waste any more time. We're going to go ahead and get this figure open. We'll take a look at the accessories and then Mando himself. All right, and we'll start things off here with the brand new jetpack. This is a really nice update. I love the new silver that it has on it. Compared to the original Beskar release here, you can see what a night and day difference. This one is actually a new sculpt. You can see it's just a tad smaller, which is more accurate to how we see it in Book of Boba Fett. And it has some peg holes for some blast effects if you have some laying around. His blaster pistol is also a brand new sculpt here. You can see the handle has some nice new wood grain to it and just some updated sculpted details. This being the original. They are very similar, but you can see side by side. On this angle, they are pretty different. And the new pistol is much larger. Again, more accurate to how we see it in the show. And something I for sure thought was going to be reuse would be the Darksaber that is included with this Mando, but it is brand new. So here is the pre-Vizsla one, and you can see again, the size is different. The hilt is a little bit larger on this new Book of Boba Fett version. And we even have a small hook here for storage on Mando. And finally, we get Mando's vibro knife. This is long awaited for us in the Black Series, and I'm happy that we finally have it. I'm always a big fan of characters with like little daggers on them. So ever since they introduced this for Mando, I've wanted one for him, and it looks great. I just wish that upcoming Paz Vizsla was coming with his vibro knife so we could actually pose them fighting. And Mando also has storage for the knife right in his boot here. So for a standard figure, this is a pretty impressive lineup of accessories. Again, all brand new sculpts included with this new Mando figure. So really nice to see all of these here. And so here is the brand new Mandalorian out of the packaging. And this figure is completely blowing me away. It's really no surprise. I think we could all tell from the promo pictures that this figure was going to be something truly special. And I am happy to say that now, having it in hand, that this is easily one of the best Black Series figures already in the line, and I really do think we will be standing by that. And finally, we do have pretty much the perfect 6-inch Mandalorian here. I don't have any of the import figures to compare him to, but just based on pictures I've seen, I really am confident in saying I think this is easily the best one that we're going to see, at least for a long time. And the fact that it is a mass-produced figure from Hasbro and it's only $25 is honestly pretty incredible. So there is a lot to go over with this brand new Mando figure, so we're not going to waste any more time. I'm going to get him off the stand and we shall take a closer look at the figure. All right, and here we are up close with Mando, and just take a moment to look at that helmet. This is something that has been a major problem for the Mandalorian ever since the very first figure was released. Hasbro has struggled to get the helmet quite right, but now I think that they have finally done it. Here's a quick side-by-side with the carbonized release just to show you how different these two helmets are. And they actually used the helmet on the carbonized Mando for quite a few releases. And I do think they ended up slightly tweaking it on some of the later releases, like the Snowy Mando here. This one looks a little bit better, but you can still tell that it just didn't quite have that 100% accurate shape. So yeah, I think they did a fantastic job on this new sculpt. I also really like the silver shine on the plastic. It's really nice and reflective and really translates the Beskar look well. On the back of the figure, let me take the jetpack off real quick. It fits in there nice and tight, but you can see the updated peg holes, and then we also do still have a slot for the rifle, so I'm 100% sure that we're probably going to be seeing more updated Mandos coming in the future, and I would actually love to see a just season 1 costume on this updated body. I think that'd be amazing. So yeah, moving on, all the armor pieces are nice and updated. The shoulder pad is on the O-ring system now, so it can move independently of the arm itself. On the belt and the strap, we do have some nice silver paint app details. The hook for the Darksabers right here on the back of the figure as well. Of course, we have some more pouches, but they are unpainted, but you know, as to be expected. I think the soft goods cape here is actually pretty decent too. It's got some nice tattering down at the bottom, and it does feel like this is like a newer material. I don't know if we've necessarily had something quite so like elasticy in the Black Series, at least right off the top of my head. I'm sure there's probably been something, but yeah, I think it serves its purpose well. It looks good when it's just draped behind Mando, and then of course the big bonus, the thing that we have always wanted to do with a Mando figure, but you've never been able to do until now, is have the jetpack plugged into the back of the figure and also have the cape attached. On all of the previous releases from Hasbro, you had to decide one or the other. You either put the cape on and had no jetpack, or you put the jetpack on and had no cape. But now finally we can do both. And it looks pretty good. Of course, you know, you got to mess with it a little bit. You got to get it to kind of lay in there just right. And for me, that is a major upgrade. And now it's time for a major oopsie. So, as we were looking over this figure in the details section, I was taking a close look at the crotch area of all places and noticed just a very familiar like line work here, and that led me to do a direct comparison to the Death Watch Mando. And yeah, so I just realized this figure is actually a good chunk of the Death Watch Mando body. However, there is still quite a bit new on it as well. I don't personally think it takes anything away from this. It's still absolutely amazing to me so far, but of course it is something that definitely needs to be noted. So yeah, that is the crotch and upper legs. I think the torso, upper arms, and neck as well are all original Death Watch Mando parts, but the lower legs and the lower arms are definitely new. Of course, the head is new and the armor overlay also new. But yeah, it just looks absolutely fantastic. Little bit of missing paint there on the legs, but we did get these painted, and there's the knife again, and that just looks fantastic. Here's the holster for the blaster pistol as well. And overall, it's just a great looking Mando figure. And I really wanted to draw attention to just the general proportions of this new figure as well. Looks much more realistic, much more like a guy in armor, whereas now you can see comparatively these other two Mando figures kind of look a little slim, don't really have that like bulk that we actually see with the character. So of course, being that this is on the Death Watch Mando body, you already know that he is going to have some pretty fantastic articulation. So we'll just do a quick rundown here. The head can look up very far, so that's going to work great for flying poses. You can see there is just a silver unpainted head underneath. The helmet is not removable, which is perfect for me. I do not want removable helmets. You can get plenty of tilt and of course full 360 movement. The shoulders can move out very far up into a Y pose, so Mando can praise the sun right here. And of course the arm can rotate around no problem, and the shoulder pad will stay right where it is, or you can move it with the arm. That is the benefit of the O-ring system. You can see that cape here. That's really the only part that's giving me some trouble right now, is the cape keeps coming untucked at the armor piece. But you can see here we got some butterfly joint action going on. The single elbow gives you way more than 90 degrees, and you have a swivel. For the hand, the wrist rotates around, and he does have vertical hinges and a horizontal hinge on this hand. And we do also get gauntlet swivel. It's back. As far as a crunch forward goes, we really don't get too much, just like most Black Series figures, and the armor definitely does not help things this time around. Going back, it is a little bit better, but still not great. Do get some side to side, and we do have rotation there as well. So, okay movement. It could be better, but again, I think the armor really is the problem. So no matter what, you're always going to be inhibited in that area. As far as the legs go, they can kick out straight forward. He can do the splits. Got a decent kickback here. A single knee that gets you just above 90 and swivels. We do also have thigh swivel. Can't forget about that. This is a figure that still has thigh swivel. And for the feet, they can move down very far. They can go up just a little bit. And he does have peg holes and ankle pivot. And this figure is just such a joy to mess around with. The posability is incredible. It feels so nice in your hands. Everything just works. It's not too finicky. It's not super over-articulated like some import figures definitely are. And so I think it really strikes a nice balance. I do think maybe this gripping hand could be a little bit tighter because as is, if you want to do like a one-handed Darksaber pose, it's going to be pretty loose and it slides out of that hand. And I think he poses just so naturally. Everything just flows. The joints are pretty well hidden this time around too. So this literally just looks like a tiny Mando just jumped out of our TV screens and is here in the basement. And there goes that Darksaber again. The trigger finger hand does grip the saber pretty well though. But the knife is very loose in both hands. It's not really wanting to stay well. Not like that, at least. You could probably get him to hold it. Yeah, so he can loosely grip it, holding it blade out, but if you want to kind of have him in more of like the blade down pose, it's going to be tough for him to hold that. It's going to fall out. And thankfully, he can double grip the Darksaber pretty well and get his arms nice and high for some swinging poses, which is always very important when it comes to armored characters and them being able to wield swords. And again, look at that. I just brought the arms down and here we are in a brand new pose, and it just looks so good. That's just how easy this Mando is to pose. That took me 2 seconds to formulate that, and it looks incredible. What a masterpiece level figure here from Hasbro. I'm super stoked on this. Not gonna lie. And so you saw the other Mandos earlier in the video, but let's jump into some more comparisons. And let's start out with some Mandalorian characters. We've got Ahsoka and Fennec Shand. Next up, it's Paz Vizsla, the Heavy Mando, and Season 2 Mando, Boba Fett. Then we've got the Black Series Mandalorian Season 2 Luke Skywalker, and then little Grogu down there. And I don't have some of the newer wave Book of Boba Fett Black Series figures yet, but for now we have the Luke Skywalker and Chrysanthemum. And to compare him to some imports that I do actually have, we have the Book of Boba Fett SH Figuarts Boba Fett and the Mafex Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett. I'm taking the Mafex away and just having Mando here with the SH Figuarts. These just look so incredible together. What a nice team here. I'm really confused as to why we don't have this particular figure from Hasbro yet, but this SH Figuarts one is amazing, and it's actually fairly inexpensive too, and you get the throne. And so there you have it. There was my review for the brand new Book of Boba Fett Glavis Ringworld Mandalorian figure. Even though we discovered this wasn't a brand new figure top to toe, this still is an absolutely fantastic release from Hasbro. The reused parts from the Death Watch Mando do not bother me in the slightest. This is one of the best proportionate, best looking 6-inch scale Mandos that I have seen yet. Really, my only minor nitpicks is I feel like the soft goods cape could be a little bit better. It's definitely pretty finicky and it's been kind of annoying me. And then that loose gripping hand is just a slight bummer when it comes to gripping the Darksaber. And then of course, neither hand really being able to hold the boot knife. But those are really just minor nitpicks. Otherwise, this Mando is pretty much perfect. He looks awesome, great articulation, and is affordable, which is definitely important these days. So there you have it. I would definitely recommend you pick this one up if you see it out on the shelves in the wild, or if you find it online. I know currently I think Big Bad Toy Store actually has it in stock right now. So if you enjoyed my review, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you are new. We're always talking about Star Wars The Black Series here on the channel. Big shout out and special thank you to all of our current channel members. Your continued support is truly appreciated. And thank you to everyone else out there for watching. I'm Nate from Out of the Basement, and I will see you next time.